Chapter 20. The Story of Visavadhanulu. Description of Sripada's Divine Auspicious Form. I came to Kurungadda early morning for Sripada's darshan. Peace, grace, love and jnana were emanating from Sripada's divine eyes in the form of jyothi. People in his divine presence were getting peace, grace, love and jnana without asking. I was overwhelmed with happiness and wonder when the only Prabhu for all the lokas, the formless tatwam, was seen in a human form and with qualities, saakara and saguna. Sripada gracefully indicated to me to come near him and give salutations. When he indicated this with his hand, some unknown peaceful and affectionate vibrations emanated from his hand. I felt that my mind, heart and body were taken to some unknown worlds. I touched Sricharanas with devotion. My body became light. I noticed a black Tejas, energy, coming out of my eyes. After that, black Tejas had come out of all the parts of my body. All that Tejas took the form of ugly man. That form exactly resembled me. Sripada questioned me with a smile. Have you noticed who that black form is, which exactly resembles you? I said, Swamy, I noticed that form resembling me, but I do not know why that form has come out of my body. I also do not know who that form is. Sripada said, My dear, that is your sinful body. He is your sinful Purusha. Now, what remains in you is only Punya Purusha. Every human body has a sinful Purusha and a Punya Purusha. Mukti means liberation from both sin and Punya, merit. A person born as a Brahmin should follow austerities and not only burn his sinful body, but also should be able to uplift others with the strength of his merit. A Brahmin should have sattva as the main quality. He should make others do the karmas or actions prescribed in the Shastras and take the money necessary only for maintaining his life. While taking money in that way, he is also taking their sins without knowing. He should burn that sin in Agni called tapas. Only a Brahmin living in that way is eligible to be called a Brahmin. Otherwise, he is Brahmin only by birth. But he cannot be a Brahmin having Brahmagnana. People like my maternal grandfather Bapanarya and my father Appalaraju Sharma only can be called Sad Brahmins or good Brahmins. My maternal grandmother and my mother Sumati Maharani are the most sacred. By merely remembering them, thousands of sins leave the bodies of jivas and immediately run away. After saying these words, Sripada remained silent for a moment. With the finger of his right hand, he touched his forehead between the eyebrows and then stretched his hand. An intense light emanated from his palm. Immediately, the sacred things required for Homam materialized. Some sweet fruits and flowers were also created. Later, gold and silver were created. After that, Navaratnas, 9 types of precious stones were created. The sinful Purusha emanated from my body was frightened and was shouting. Sripada ordered that sinful man with the movement of his eyes to fall into that fire and get burnt. He fell into the fire reluctantly. My whole body started burning. I shouted, Swamy, I'm getting burnt. Please save me. Please save me. One ray of light came from Sripada's divine eyes and touched me. My body was cooled. Homagni burnt the sinful man. Different types of electric currents got generated in my body. I noticed the awakening of Kundalini. My pulse beat stopped. Heartbeat stopped. I slipped into the state of Samadhi. It was afternoon and Thursday. Sripada, after having bath, was surrounded by devotees. He touched the Bhiksha Anna brought by devotees with his divine hand. He sprinkled water from his kamandalam on the devotees. He kept some food on all 8 sides as bali. He called my name with the voice filled with sweetness of a crore calls. He ordered everyone to eat food. He told me to come near him. He closed his eyes for a moment and opened. He spread his playful hand towards me. One silver vessel appeared in his hand. It was full of a North Indian sweet preparation called halwa. That was a preparation liked by Sripada. Sripada said, "Shankar Bhatt, my devotees bind me with the rope of devotion. I am bound only by spotless devotion and faith." In Shreshti's house, his Dharmapatni, wife, Venkata Subbamma, made this for me and took a vow that she would eat food only after I took this halwa. Her grandfather, Lakshmi Vasavi, tied Raksha Bandhan to my hand. She took Diksha saying, "The astrologers are telling that in my husband's horoscope, there is a chance of death. If it is true that I have tied Raksha Bandhan to you, you should take this prasad and bless me as Sumangali." What else can I do? I blessed Chiranjeevi Lakshmi Vasavi as Lakshmi Saubhagyavati and granted flowers, bangles and kumkum to her. I brought along with me the halwa made by my grandmother Venkata Subbamma lovingly. This sweet prasad will remove great sins coming from many births. I myself will take the prasadam offered to me in my devotee's house through subtle rays. But the thing cooked in Shrishti's house is Mahaprasadam, so I am taking it myself physically. You also eat the prasad. Who can describe the sweetness of that Mahaprasadam? He threw part of the prasadam up. It went somewhere in the celestial sphere. Some prasadam was dropped from his hand. There, the earth broke and gave way for it. After it went in, the broken earth came back to its original state. The devotees present there also desired to have that prasadam. Sripada would not disappoint anyone. The prasadam was not exhausting even if it was given to any number of people in any quantity. Meanwhile, a devotee belonging to Padmasali caste by name Gurucharana came there. Sripada gave prasad to him also. He threw that silver vessel into Krishna river. Sripada said, "Padmasalis also belong to Markandeya Gotram. Due to some reasons, they became meat eaters. In my presence, no action takes place without reason. Gurucharana, you have been offering prasadam to me for many days and living a sacred life saying that Shri Gurucharanas are the only refuge. Today, you have got Mahaprasadam from Shri Guru's lotus hands. You explain the Guru Tatwam to Shankar Bhatt as far as you know. In the afternoon, I will be in Yoga Nidra and do Manasa Sancharam, wandering with mind. No one should see me at that time. No one should disturb my rest." It was really Shri Guru's will that I should meet Shri Gurucharana, a great devotee. Shri Gurucharana reached the highest state in Yoga path. I prayed him to teach me Sripada's tatwam and make me blessed. Gurucharana said, "It is the Mahasankalpa that causes creation, sustenance and dissolution of endless crores of Brahmandas. It has no qualities and no form. Such Mahasankalpam had manifested with form and with qualities in previous yugam as Shri Dattatreya. Now, the same tatvam has come in this yugam in these times as Sripada Srivallabha. This avatar is Nirakara but is appearing as Narakara, like man. It is Nirguna but is appearing as Saguna with qualities. It is appearing like the form of a god but it is the form of all gods. It is the ultimate destination of all yogic paths. The different forms of gods which the Maharshis saw due to the power of their respective sadhanas from the beginning of creation are the divine forms of Sripada only. In ancient times, Maharshis had many divine powers. Vasishta used to do yagnas using havyas, offerings to gods. Vishwamitra and Jamadagni used to follow the method of doing yagnas without the need of havyas. Only the person who knows the secret of karma and the secret of mantra will be capable of doing a karma, not doing a karma, or doing it in a different way. Sripada is capable of doing everything. As he knows the secret of karma, he appears to behave differently with different people. Prema Shakti, the power of love, is the best among all Shaktis. Its power is limitless. Bapannarya, Narasimhavarma and Venkatappaya Shreshti are extraordinarily rich yogis. They have high loving devotion towards Sripada. They can insist in front of Sripada with their power of love to fulfill a particular work. Sripada also has to bend his head. It is Sripada's natural tendency to see his mother in every woman. With natural love, if anybody thinks of Sripada as a divine child and worships him, Sripada also will behave like a child in their house. This is Mahamaya, the attributeless, formless Parabrahman, which is being mentioned by yogis and jnanis repeatedly, showed divine leelas in Pitikapuram. This cannot be understood by argument. People do sadhana with a view that he will be known through studies of Veda Shastras, through yoga path and jnana path. They will get him through their respective paths. The experience of divinity can be confirmed through Shastras. Sometimes divine experiences can be had through paths other than Shastras. Daivam, God is independent. Sripada's leelas cannot be argued. They were not heard of before. I asked, Sir, how do you get the darshan of Sripada at first? Please explain that story and make me blessed. Then Guru Charana said, O greatest among Brahmins, you are highly blessed. It is due to the merit of my previous births that I have the fortune of telling you Sripada's divine leelas in his presence. You are the one who received Sri Guru's genuine grace in plenty. Saying so, he narrated briefly how he had the darshan of Sripada. I was born in a family having devotion. From the childhood, I have been worshipping our family god Sri Datta Prabhu. There were many financial problems in the family. My difficulties were not removed in spite of praying Datta Prabhu many times. Moreover, they started increasing. Some elders gave an advice. You did not have the grace of Datta Prabhu. If you select another god as family god and worship, your problems may be solved. I also kept thinking, which god should I make as family god to get over my difficulties? In a dream, I saw an extremely frightful butcher. He was tending a herd of goats with extreme loving care. Every day, he was killing some goats with his butcher's knife. The knife in his hand was frightening me. He said with a thundering voice, I am Datta. The forms of gods and goddesses you worship are mine only. If you merely change the form of God you worship, I will not change. Moreover, I will not leave you. You are my person. How can my shadow be away from me? I am the Mahasankalpam which conducts the Sankalpam of all gods and goddesses and the Sankalpams of all human beings. The form of Brahman from where all avatars are emanating is myself. A prey may be able to wriggle out of a tiger's mouth, but you cannot escape from me. Datta devotees should be like lion cubs. They should not become cowards. I am like a lion. Lion cubs will not have fear of a lion. They please their mother with their playful deeds. It is certain that I will kill you with this knife. There is no one in all the 3 lokas who can save you. I started shouting frightened. Meanwhile, the dream dispersed. People in the house asked me what the matter was. I narrated my dream to them. I wailed that it was due to the result of karma done in my previous birth that I was now suffering this poverty. Our financial problems increased. I thought it was better if I died. Early morning, one Haridas appeared in front of our house. He had chiratalu, pair of wooden blocks clapped while singing. He was singing Hari's name. He had a vessel in his hand in which he would collect rice. He was a strange Haridasu. He had a small medi, audumbar plant in that vessel. It was inauspicious not to give rice when Haridas was standing in front of the house. So I searched in the house, found a fistful of broken grains of rice and gave them to Haridas. He received those broken grains and said, "Sir, yesterday night, one butcher killed a Datta devotee by name Sricharana. The strange thing is that the man's life force left his body and stood in this meaty plant. Dattatreya would reside at the root of Audumbar tree. This plant is not an ordinary one. There is a great kshetram called Sripetikapuram in Godavari Mandalam. People say that Swayambhu Datta is moving in disguise as Sripada Srivallabha. This plant is an offshoot of the Audumbar tree present in Sripada's grandfather's house. You plant it in your house and get all auspiciousness." My head started reeling. I told Haridas, "Sir, I am indeed Guru Charana. I was not killed. I am a devotee of Datta. I saw a butcher in a dream. He told me that he would kill me with his knife. I heard that if any person died and his dead body was not traceable, wood from Medhi tree would be arranged and the last rites performed, thinking it as a dead body. But I have not heard or seen attracting the life force of a person into a Medhi plant and at the same time keeping the life in that person. The greatness of Audumbar tree." Haridas laughed loudly and said, "What you say is correct. I don't deny. The whole secret of this creation is known only to Adi Guru Datta Prabhu. Even the 7 rishis cannot say what he does the next moment. How can you and I say? You are thinking that death means death of physical body. If a person has a Maraka Dasha, the time of death, Sadguru can grant rebirth by destroying his karma, by making him suffer intense mental torture, great insults and unbearable troubles and losses. But Dattatreya will attract the life force into the Audumbar tree where he also lives, and by the life force emanating from the Audumbar tree, he will save the body of his devotee. The devotee, having no knowledge, thinks that he is living because of the life force present in his body. But the truth is that the life force emanates from the Audumbar and keeps the functions of the body without hindrance. Once the Maraka Dasha passes, the life force comes out of the Audumbar tree and gets established in the devotee, and he will live for some more time. Audumbar always remains complete even if any amount of life force has gone out of it. The reason for it is Sri Dattatreya will remain always established at the root of Audumbar tree in subtle form. Thus he explained. What Haridas said was all surprising to me. The Haridas named Krishnadas went away. I had been caring the Audumbar plant with great love and devotion in the backyard of our house. A few days passed. One of my distant relatives was doing business in silk sarees. He became old. He did not have children. He developed unexplained affection towards me. He started living in my house. He gave me some money and suggested that I should do business in silk clothes. He also used to do circumambulation to the Audumbar tree and worship Datta Prabhu with great devotion. Whenever difficulties arose in our house, we used to circumambulate that Audumbar tree and submit our problems to that king of trees. Our prayer would reach Datta Prabhu and get solved in an unexpected way. The Audumbar tree used to be a friendly bridge between Dattatreya and us. Sir, it is the main duty of a Datta devotee to serve Audumbar tree. When Audumbar tree is in our house, it means Dattatreya is indeed in our house. However much you describe the greatness of Audumbar tree, it will be less only. Visavadhanulu, born as thorny bush due to sinful karmas. While going to Orissa for business purpose, I reached Petikapuram because of my fortune and found the house of Sri Papanarya. At that time, Sripada was playing with Papanarya in their backyard. There was a thorny bush in their house. Sripada was pouring water to it devotedly. Papanarya asked Sripada, "Bangaru Kanna, it is proper to water that tree devotedly as if it is a Somalata or Sanjeevani plant. But whether you care for it or not, it will not stop growing. Sripada said, Tata, in previous birth, Visavadhanulu Tata used to stay in our street and ridicule us, saying, Swayambhu Tata was said to be born as Bapanarya's grandson. What a wonder, what a blasphemy! He is now born as Thorny Bush. When mother, myself, brothers, Sri Vidyadhari, Radha and Sureka were taking food at Venkatapaya Shrishti and Narasimha Varma's houses, he used to say, Malladi and Gantikuta families are really anacharis, those who do not follow traditions. They are fallen from dharma. Those two families should be expelled from Brahmin community. Thus, he raised a dispute in Brahmin Parishad. He is this thorny bush. Is Sripada himself Datta? Where is the proof for this? Is it there in Shastras? Is it there in Vedas? Thus he did distorted arguments. That same Visavadhanulu is this thorny bush. He used to scold Venkatapaya Shrishti and Narasimha Varma, who treated my mother Sumati Maharani, Sarva Mangala Swarupini, the one with auspicious qualities, as their daughter, gave food and new clothes and felt that their life was fulfilled. That same Visavadhanulu Tata is this thorny bush. After death, as his last rites were not performed properly and by the weight of his own great sins, he is now born as this thorny bush in accordance with his nature. I am showing pity on him and doing Jalatarpanam. After a while, they came into the front yard. Seeing the beautiful mind, bewitching form of Sripada, I got hiccups with great happiness. Pleasure tears were flowing from my eyes incessantly. I fell on the divine lotus feet of Sripada. Sripada lovingly tapped on my back with his hand and said, My dear, get up. What are these mad actions? You died, got back life and came to me. Knowing that I do business in silk clothes, Bapanarya asked me, Do you have any clothes for my golden grandson? I gave silk clothes suitable to Sripada. Sripada said, Gurucharana, I will show you a wonder. Come in. He took me inside. Bapanarya also was behind Sripada. He took us to the thorny bush and said, Visanna Tata, because of the Shraddha karmas done to you by your sons without devotion, and because of the result of scolding great people like Bapanarya, you have got this low janma. This Gurucharana was your son in one previous janma. I will make him do Shraddha karma to you. Do you agree? We were looking stunned. Visavadhanulu, who was in the form of Pretatma surrounding the thorny bush, said clearly, Is there anything more fortunate than that? Sripada told me to pull out that bush completely from the ground. He gave me small ravi and made the sticks and told me to create fire. When both were rubbed, fire was created. I burned that thorny bush. Sripada told me to take bath. After bath, Sripada gave me vibhuti and told me to apply it on my body. He said, People think that Shiva will smear himself with the ashes from the burial ground. When Mahapurushas, Siddhapurushas, Mahayogis and Mahadevotees leave their body, Shiva will smear the ashes from their burnt bodies on him. They remain in a merged state in the aura of light in his vicinity. If animals like monkey, snake and cow happen to be killed by us by mistake, the last rites should be performed to them. It is enough to burn the bodies with devotion and give food to poor people. Nothing is required to be done with chanting of mantras. Those jivas which have a small dead relation in previous janma will die in our hands due to some mistake. By doing the devoted burning of the body, any karma remaining will be destroyed. They will get higher states. In previous yugam, once people were put to hardship due to drought. Unless the livestock of cows is improved, the cow ghee and other sacred materials will not be produced. When yagnas and yagas are not done, The mutual cooperation between human beings and gods cannot be maintained and dharma will be affected. Human beings cannot live without good stock of food grains. So, Gautama Maharshi was growing crops with the power of his tapas. Gautama Maharshi got the sin of killing cow due to some reasons, and to remove that sin, Godavari was brought to the earth. So, the world owes a lot for Gautama Maharshi. His wife Ahalya was a great pativrata. This Visavadhanulu was born in Gautama Gotra. That is the only relation between Gautama Maharshi and Visavadhanulu. This is a very meager depth relation. Gautama Maharshi also took part in the Savitrukataka Chayanam done in this same Petikapuram. Visavadhanulu was not only born in Petikapuram by luck, but he also got my darshan, which was extremely difficult to get. The time has come to prove that Sri Datta can grant higher states with his causeless affection even on undeserving persons. As a result of all those reasons, this incident had happened. If there is no depth relation, even a dog will not come to you. So, if anyone comes to you for help, you help him if possible. If not possible, you tell him about your inability to help politely. But don't show arrogance. If you show your arrogance, I will also show my arrogance on you, because I am the one present inside all beings. If you are truth, the world is truth, this creation is truth, then it is the same truth that I am the root cause for all this. I am the Paramasatyam, the ultimate truth, which is the truth of all the truths. In Vedas also, it is said, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Thus he explained. I was looking stunned. Pleasure tears were flowing on the cheeks of Papanarya. Sripada wiped the tears of grandfather's cheeks with his little hands and said, Tata, these days you have been in my dhyana. Your life is fulfilled. I will take the avatar of Nrsimha Saraswati exactly in your form. This is true. He put his hand in Babanarya's hand as if promising. Babanarya asked Sripada, a doubt has been there in my mind for a long time. Shall I ask? Immediately, Sripada said smiling, Tata, how can a doubt be there for a person of your caliber? How can I clear it, being a boy of only 10 years? Still I will try. You can ask. Babanarya, is it true that Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar do the creation, sustenance and annihilation? Sripada, yes. Babanarya, is it true that Saraswati, Lakshmi and Parvati are the forms of their Shakti? Sripada, yes. Babanarya, is it true that it is Adi Parashakti which created these three Murtis and three Shaktis? Sripada, yes. Babanarya, in that case, who are you? Sripada is the form of all gods and the root of all. When Babanarya put a series of questions, Sripada smiled pleasingly and said, Tata, just now I gave higher states to this thorny bush. There should not be any doubt whether there is a precedence in the Shastras for all my actions. I am present in all planes of yoga. A yogi in that respective plane will be able to know me. Srishti, creation, is not Maya. To think of this as Srishti is Maya. In all this creation, there is only one Chaitanyam of God, but it is subject to transformations in different kinds of states. Time or Kala is necessary for this process of transformation. As there is awareness of time, there is an experience of transformation. This time is caused by the movements of the planets like sun and moon. Atri Maharshi had the awareness of three kalas, past, present and future, and the awareness of three states, Jagrat, Swapna and Shushupti at the same time. In this creation, the great woman who had the experience of Anasuya Tatwam, no ill feeling towards anything, is Anasuya Mata. I have the experience of creation, protection and annihilation, the gross, subtle and causal bodies, past, present and future, and all other things at the same time. Hence, mine is eternal, present, or Vartamanam. I experience the thing that happened, that is happening, and that is going to happen at the same time. In that state, it is true that Trimurtis and Three Shaktis were in Adi Parashakti before the creation. Myself and Adi Parashakti are not different, but there is a subtle matter in this. As there is a Mahasankalpam that all the creation has to come from female form, Adi Parashakti form has expressed itself. But how does the Sankalpam occur to Adi Parashakti that the creation must be done and the creation should be in a particular manner? The power behind the Sankalpam is myself in the form of Mahasankalpam. The manifestation of Adi Parashakti, the three Murtis and the three Shaktis occurred in accordance with the Mahasankalpam. That is the matter of utmost secrecy. If that Mahasankalpam wills, it happens immediately. The will and the happening occur at the same time. I am the root, Shakti, which controls all Shaktis. In this creation, the relation of father and mother, father and son, wife and husband, and brother and sister are essential. To make these sacred relations as ideal, the forms of Devis and Devatas have come. Jiva is the Shakti in the Maya. I am Shakti which transcends Maya. Maya Shakti and Mahashakti meet only with the help of Yoga Shakti. The same Mahashakti which is seen in a female form as Vasavi Kanyaka is seen in the male form as Sripada Srivallabha. The expression of two forms of Shakti is also due to the will of Mahasankalpam. While being worshipped as Adi Parashakti or the root Datta, the three Murtis and the three Shaktis remain merged. Only people having the wealth of sadhana will understand these relations of gods, their philosophies, and the experiences of those states. All the sins of those worshipping Sripada will be destroyed. It is futile to go to an animal and teach Sanskrit Vyakarana. If an animal wants to learn Sanskrit, it should first come out of that low birth and get a human birth and learn it from suitable person. I am the one present inside every living being. So I will take the samskaras and impurities of jivas and burn them daily with a bath and japa and help them in their transformation. Really, I need not do any worship. I will attract the sinful samskaras of people worshipping me and do the gross worship of Kala Nishamana who is present in our family as a family deity. I will pass on the great result that comes by worship to people who worship me. Without doing karma, the results cannot be given. That is why I will perform great merited karmas with this body. Because I am the endless Chaitanya, immediate results come for my actions. I will transfer those results to those respective devotees according to their eligibility. That is why mine is a form of Adi Guru. The disciple is the heir. The disciple is the heir to the Tapo Shakti of his Guru, just as a child becomes the heir of his parents' property. In Bhagavad Gita also, it is mentioned that doing karma is inevitable. There is no end to my avatar. Being Datta, I am easily accessible. The other gods give boons when they become happy with the tapas of devotees. But Datta, the form of Guru, is a compassionate form. He will destroy the cruel powers and bad luck powers which cause obstruction to his devotees getting boons. Tata, that is why I am called Smartrugami, the one who comes by merely remembering. I am the one present in all Gurus. There will be no end for this avatar because I am this form of Paramaguru having great compassion. When I get the call from my devotee, I will respond immediately. I will be waiting for the call of my devotee. If my devotee takes one step towards me, I will take 100 steps towards him. It is my natural quality to save my devotees like an eyelet to the eye from all difficulties and pains. Thus Sripada taught Papanarya. I asked that Mahaguru, Mahaprabhu, I heard a little about Somalata and Somayagam. Please let me know in detail. Sripada said that Somalata was also called Sanjeevini Mulika, plant, and asked me, do you like to see it? I said yes. Immediately, Sanjeevini Mulika appeared in his hand. He gave it to me as a gift. That is present in my puja room safely even today as his divine prasad. Sripada said, these Sanjeevini plants are available in Himalaya mountain ranges, Kashmir, Manasa Sarovaram, and at the origin of Sindhu river at Sri Shaila mountain, the abode of Mallikarjuna Prabhu in Sahyadri, Mahendragiri, Vindhya mountain ranges, and in the forests of Badri. Lakshmana came out of unconsciousness due to its influence only. By taking this, one gets relief from many diseases. By applying this on body, one gets the siddhi of Akashagamana, walking in space. It will help in strengthening of muscles, increase the luster in the eyes, improve the power of hearing. Under its influence, one will not have any fear or grief from fire, water, and poison. It also gives 8 siddhis, anima, etc. In the Shukla Paksha, the first half of lunar month, this plant will give 1 leaf per day, and on 15th day, that plant will have 15 leaves. From the next day, 1 leaf will be falling every day. By the Amavasya day, that is the 30th day, all leaves will fall and the plant dries. The dried stem of the plant, if made wet and kept in the room at night, will emanate light. In Sahyadri mountain range and Bhima Shankara mountains, wild animals will be guarding these Sanjeevini plants. In the midnight of Amavasya day, this plant can be easily identified because of its glow. My dear Guru Charana, there are 24 types of such divine medical plants. All these are very sacred. Godly powers will be resting in these plants. So one should take that plant, digging with utmost humility, chanting sacred Veda mantras. These are the 24 divine sacred medical plants. Soma, Mahasoma, Chandrama, Amshuman, Manjuvan, Rachita Prabhu, Dhruva, Kaniyan, Shwetan, Kanaka Prabhu, Prarthanavan, Lal Vrita, Karadhera, Amshuvan, Swayam Prabhu, Rudraksha, Gayatri, Eshtam, Pavata, Jagat, Shakar, Anishtam, Raikta, and Tripada Gayatri. I took leave from Sripada and left Pitikapuram. As Guru Charana finished explaining this to me, Mahaguru's subtle wandering finished and we received the order to come for his darshan. We had his darshan. We received fruits and prasad from his divine hands. Later, Sripada said, both of you cross the river Krishna and go to the other side. You go to Manchala village. The village goddess of Manchala will bless you. After receiving that mother's blessings, you come back to Kurungadda. Know that I will be always watching you wherever you are and however far you are. In future, Manchala village will become world famous. It will become famous because of the presence of the life samadhi of a Mahapurusha. Just like there is a gross Pitikapuram, there is a subtle Pitikapuram also. That is Swarna Pitikapuram. It is established in the light aura surrounding my gross body. People who get my grace will have their Chaitanyam established in Swarna Pitikapuram, whether they belong to any yugam, any country, or any time. This thing is known to all who have yoga drishti or yoga vision. People who are able to earn a place in Swarna Pitikapuram for their Jiva Chaitanyam are blessed. I will be behind them in birth after birth and protect them. My dear Shankar Bhatt, after many hundreds of years, Mahasamsthanam will be established in my name in my maternal grandfather's house. My padukas will be installed under the shade of an Audumbar tree. My idol, the idol of my previous avatar, and the idol of my next avatar will also be installed. I am giving you divine vision, Divya Drishti. Look. Saying so, he touched me and Guru Charana between eyebrows. We were blessed looking at that beautiful sight. His will was most powerful. His leelas were most wonderful. While we were starting, he said, a person with the amsha of Vashishta will come as Pujari, priest to my samsthanam. Victory to Sripada Srivallabha, Sripada Rajam Sharanam Prapadhye.